we're losing stitches. Hey guys, welcome to the Knit by Day podcast. For those of you who are new here, my name is Deja, and you can find me on Instagram at Knit by Day. You can also find me on Ravelry at Days Jam. I hope you guys are as excited for a new podcast as I am. It's been a couple of weeks since I've recorded last, and I actually left you guys probably expecting more episodes of Vlogmas and expecting a couple more episodes of the podcast, but the month of December, the last couple of weeks just got a little bit crazy for me, both personally and professionally at work. Things were wild, and so I really just needed to kind of take a breather. Unfortunately, this was one of the things that fell off my to-do list, just so that I could have a little bit of time with family and really take a moment to reflect on the last year, set some goals, do the whole end of the year thing. So that's what happened to me. I want to thank everyone who did reach out to me on Instagram. I appreciate all your sweet comments, making sure that 2020 didn't totally kill me. It did not. I'm still here. I'm still kicking and knitting. So this episode is going to be potentially a quick one. I say that and then it might run as long as all the other ones, but I have a couple of projects that have been kind of demanding my attention over the last couple of weeks, things that I've been really excited about. And then I also had quite a bit of gift knitting that I ended up doing last minute. And those are not things that I have any pictures or videos of, simply because they really weren't that exciting. They're mostly just stockinette hats and beanies that I knit for, a couple of family members, and they were actually really cute. I probably should have taken a video or a picture, but I did not. Oh, really quick before we get into the knitting, I did want to mention the Christmas cowl that I am currently hosting. So that obviously began on Christmas, and the requirements for that were that you had to cast on a project on Christmas Day in order to participate. It is not too late to join if you did end up casting something on Christmas and you want to go ahead and join the cowl. It will end on February 2nd to give everyone time to kind of get those things off the needles. You can join on Ravelry by searching my name, Days Jam, or searching the name of the cowl, which is the Christmas cast on cowl. You can also join over on Instagram if you use the hashtag knitbydaycal2020. Either one of those places are fine, and you're welcome to double dip. I think that because there were so few people to participate, which is totally fine, more prizes for them, I'm gonna actually combine the drawing pool between Instagram and Ravelry. So if you posted on Instagram, you will get one entry per post on Instagram. And then if you post it on Ravelry in the forums, you'll get one entry per post in the forums there, which I will then draw a winner on February 3rd to give everyone a chance to get in there, and then announce the winner on Instagram. I will also announce the winner up on here, and then if I can find a way, announce the winner on Ravelry. I am not as well versed on Ravelry as I am YouTube and Instagram. So if I can find a way, I will absolutely let you know there as well. That's it for announcements. So let's get to the fun part. Speaking of Christmas cast on cowl, what I cast on for my entry into the cowl was the Pixelated Cardi by Knit Collage. Now, if you have followed me through the Vlogmas episodes that I did post, you'll know how excited I was to cast this on. And it's really cool because, chunky yarn kind of ends up flying through. So here, let's see. I'll show you the back first. So that's that, and then if I turn it around, this is how it will wear. Well, kind of like that. I have one sleeve. Very excited about that. Getting ready to cast it off now, and then I will just have one more sleeve and a crocheted edging, which I'm excited about. If you've watched this podcast for any amount of time, you know that I don't pick up a crochet hook ever, and so I'm kind of excited to learn a new technique with that. This is obviously a lot of color work. It was super frustrating because the size of the needles are a little bit finicky for me because I'm not used to working with larger needles or chunky yarn. It's not something I do a ton. And then the color work is very, very random, so you really have to pay attention, and I'm bad at that. So, you know, I had to rip back a couple of times, and it's not the pattern's fault. It's 100% my fault. But that's just how that goes. So, yes, there's that. I'm really excited to wear that. I kind of already had an outfit planned, and when it is done, I will be certain to show you guys because I'm really excited about that one. The next thing I have on my needles is something that has been on my needles for quite a while. If you watched the very first episode of the podcast, you may or may not recognize this. I don't know that I've touched it since the first episode of the podcast. I just had other things that were on my mind, other things that I wanted to knit on, so I am just now pulling this back out. Oh no, we're losing stitches. That's what happens when you don't use yarn stoppers, I swear. Phew. All right, so now that that crisis has been averted, this is the very humble beginnings of a little black cardigan. That's the name of the pattern. So really the only true detailing of the pattern that you'll be able to see right now is that little faux seam, which I find super cool. That's where it should fold over. Yeah, really cool. I am loving this color. Yellow tends to kind of wash me out a little bit, but this one has a bit more of a greenish hue, maybe a little bit more mustardy, and so I'm thinking that it might actually look good on me. We'll see. This pattern, unfortunately, the name of the designer is escaping me, and I didn't have time to look it up before starting this, so it will be here on one of these sides to let you know who the designer is. I'm so sorry I didn't remember, but I do know this is the little black cardigan. Mine is just not black. The yarn I'm using, I'm actually using Malabrigo's Lace Weight Held Double, which kind of gives it a nice squish. It's super soft. And the colorway is Frank, okay. In the first podcast, I called this Frank Ochre. It's not. It's whatever, it's O-C-H-R-E. Ochre? I think it's a fancy word for brown. No idea. I actually was watching the Vine podcast and heard her say it, and I was like, oh, yeah, that yarn I'm using is 100% not named after ochre, which wouldn't even make sense anyway, right? Like, ochre's green. It's definitely a yellow, brown-ish mustard, not green. I don't really know what I was thinking, but yeah, not Frank Ochre. So I haven't picked this up in a while, and the only reason is the whole out of sight, out of mind thing. Well, I worked on this about a week ago, but I haven't worked on it since I got back from the trip I took it on, simply because I put it in my bag and kind of out of sight, out of mind. But this is my Homespun House mystery cowl, which is no longer a mystery cowl because all of the clues are out and I have just failed. But there's that. I really like it. It's going to be a giant pop of color in whatever outfit I choose to wear. I tend to wear a ton of black or neutrals, and then I throw a shawl over it, so this will be Really fun to wear as just kind of like a way to add color to my wardrobe and accessorize. This is knit with my Advent minis, and they were from Sweet Nesting Yarn, which phenomenal dyer. If you have a second to follow her on Instagram, I've been plugging her throughout December because I was just so in love with every mini I opened. Highly encourage you to check her out. So yeah, that's my shawl. And now that it has been put back in front of my sightline, I think I'm gonna I think I'm going to continue working on it a little bit tonight. So I'm actually gonna put this on my coffee table so I remember. Okay, I think we're down to the final whip. You guys ready? This one's super exciting. It's not. This is actually just a pair of vanilla socks. Sorry to get your hopes up if you were excited for something interesting. This is, like I said, a pair of vanilla socks. Don't even have the yarn on hand. The colorway name anyway. This is actually Knit Picks and their Stroll fingering. And I've heard a lot of great things about this yarn. However, ooh, the variegation's really showing up there. So many greens. Really cool. Anyway, I had heard so many great things about Knit Picks Stroll yarn. However, I had been super hesitant to buy it because a couple of years ago, I bought their Bravo, which is, I believe, a worsted weight. It's kind of escaping me at this point. But I knit a sweater out of it, and it was kind of itchy and just not, you know, incredible quality yarn. I'm sure it was fine for the price point, but I just didn't love it, so I didn't want to buy any more Knit Picks. However, I really, really wanted to knit a pair of socks for my friend Ben, and I plan on seeing him this weekend, and I knew that I wouldn't have enough time to order from a dyer that I love, so I went on Amazon and saw what they had available, and Stroll, Knit Picks Stroll was what was up there. And I thought, well, you know what, it's a pair of socks. He's probably going to destroy them in a couple of weeks anyway. I'll go ahead and get this. It's a great price point, and it'll be here in 2 days. So that was really the selling point, the Amazon Prime 2-day shipping. So I threw it in my car, ordered it. It got here, and this stuff, so soft, so durable. I mean, like, I can't believe I've been just sleeping on this for months and months and actually years now. Like, people have been talking about Stroll, and I've just been writing it off as nope, not for me. This stuff is amazing. I might knit all my socks out of Stroll from here on out. So in fact, as soon as I get off of here, I'm hopping on Amazon and I'm ordering more because I'm that excited about it. If you haven't tried Knit Picks Stroll for your socks, highly recommend. It's like $12 a skein. So really, really great, cheap way to get a lot of socks on your needles. But yeah, like I said, little vanilla sock. I am on the heel flap. I'll probably turn the heel tonight, might even pick up those stitches, and should be off the needles by this Friday. This is one that I will take a picture of just to show you what my vanilla socks look like. Really excited about the just promptly fell on the floor. Really excited about the variegation in that yarn. It's really cool. This next project is actually quite exciting. This is the finished object. One I have been working on for quite some time. And if you've listened to the podcast or watched the podcast for, you know, the last month or so, you will recognize that this has been on my needles for a minute. This is my Weekender sweater. This is the Weekender Lite because it is knit out of fingering weight yarn. I think the original is knit out of worsted. My favorite detail is this shoulder. And in fact, I wore this yesterday, which is why I'm not wearing it for the podcast. It needs to be washed. But I was wearing this yesterday. So cute, by the way. And Christian looked at my shoulder and he went, "Oh, it's so cool how the pattern just kind of changes on the sleeve." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. It's the greatest part of this." So yeah, that's that. I'm pumped about this sweater. I might knit another one. Potentially not the Lite, just the Weekender, so that it could fly off my needles a little bit faster than this one did. But yeah, really excited about all the outfit pairings with this one. I have so far only really like worn it with jeans and kind of tucked it in a bit. That's been my go-to, jeans and boots. But you can wear this over a dress, over a skirt. Really, really versatile. I'm excited about it. And that's it, you guys. The end of the podcast. I am going to hang out for a quick second, chat about my life. If you came here solely for the fiber related contents, then I don't blame you, and I will see you again next time. Those of you who choose to listen to my life, welcome. Perhaps the main thing that is new in our lives, if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen her. It is a new kitten we finally picked up from my mom's house. If you didn't watch Vlogmas, my mom's cat gave birth to 3 gorgeous kittens, and we were not in the market for a kitten. Didn't want one, just weren't interested until we met them, and they are the sweetest, most playful, most cuddly kittens in the world. And Christian, who is the total cat person in this relationship, could not resist. So we got a new kitten, which I don't know if I've mentioned this. I probably have. Our apartment's 500 square feet and we have a dog. So the reason the podcast is a day late is because we picked her up on Saturday, and I really, really just needed the weekend to kind of decompress, get her adjusted to the house, make sure we did a great job introducing the 2 of them, and, you know, kind of settle in. I will give us a pat on the back because I feel like we did really good with the introduction. They're doing great. If you saw my Instagram story, we were all napping together in the same bed yesterday afternoon, and yeah, they've been really sweet to each other. They both are a little bit skittish of one another. Weston's a really anxious dog, and she's a cat, so obviously if I were a small cat, I would be terrified of a dog. But they go through bouts where like one will want to play with the other, but the other will do something like sneeze and scare the other away, and it's kind of fun to watch. But for the most part, they're doing great. The other thing, what else is happening in our lives? So Christian, if you watched one of the episodes where I talked about Christian's journey through school, he had an interview with an internship at Ohio State, and it went really well. So fingers crossed we find out mid-January if he got in, and if he did, then he will be spending a year in Columbus, Ohio. I have made the decision to remain in Wilmington, hold the fort down here, simply because I love my job so much. I don't want to leave it, especially if it's just for a year. And so I would rather spend a year apart than have to quit my job and then pick it back up later, potentially, if it was even still available. So yeah, we're going to be managing 2 households. But never been to, no, that's a lie. I've been to Ohio, I've been to Cleveland, but I've never been to Columbus, and I'm excited for a new place to visit, especially if I could potentially see some snow there and maybe do some skiing or snowboarding. That could be really cool. And I think it would be great for him to get that opportunity. It's a phenomenal internship, and from what it sounds like, he's gonna have a ton of opportunity there. He seemed to mesh well with one of the professors, so like I said, fingers crossed he gets in. If he doesn't get in anywhere, which is really likely when you're in a PhD looking for an internship, then he'll just wait a year and try again next year. Almost like if you didn't get into any of the colleges you were hoping for, you could, wait a year, apply again, that sort of thing. But yeah, that's the update there. It's pretty cool. I have been, the last couple of weeks I realized I wasn't necessarily discontent, but I was feeling a little bit dull. Like I wasn't really excited for anything. I wasn't doing anything that was really sparking too much joy. And so the last couple of weeks I've been really, really intentional about kind of doing things that I really enjoyed, things that I may not get to do very often. One example is I went to my stepsister and got my hair cut last week, I stopped at a local coffee shop instead of Starbucks to get coffee. Just little things like that to keep me excited about something. And it's really been paying off. I mean, I feel re-energized and refocused on the things that matter. And so I'm pumped for this year. I don't do resolutions because I think that they're always focused on changing yourself, and while growth and change is great, I don't necessarily love the pressure to feel like I have to change every year, especially if I like the way things are going. So instead, I was listening to a podcast and the woman on it did 21 things that she wants to do in 2021. So that can be anything you wish to do. And I think I'm gonna do that, with the first thing on my list being see some snow. Here in Wilmington, little coastal town, we do not get snow very often. So it's been about 3 years since I've seen snow. And I thought we were going to get it this year, and so far, no go. Well, we definitely didn't get it in 2020. So fingers crossed 2021. And if it doesn't come here, I'm going somewhere to see some dang snow. So yeah, I am curious what you guys are doing for resolutions, or if you're not doing resolutions, what are you doing? Let me know in the comments below. As far as anything else going on in my life, same. So I'm going to leave you guys at that. I hope you have a wonderful week, wonderful 2 weeks, and I will see you on time for the next episode. Bye, guys.